Welcome, everyone. Let's dive into how introverts can actually thrive in relationships. It's like, exploring this rich inner world and sharing it, even though it might feel overwhelming at times.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's interesting because for many introverts, expressing that inner world can seem like stepping way out of their comfort zone. They're constantly thinking and processing internally, and that sometimes creates hurdles when connecting with a partner.
Exactly. It's not that introverts don't want to connect, it's just, their inner narrative plays so big a role, and they might even end up inventing stories about what's happening in their partner's world.
That makes sense. And that can lead to misconceptions, as they might assign intentions to their partner's actions without actually talking it out. It's like, reading between the lines when you could just ask.
Yes. And that's why the guide really focuses on building that friendship first, making sure you truly know each other's worlds. They suggest using something like the Love Map card deck. It's a straightforward tool to help you share
Right,
details
it
about your
creates those little
everyday
windows
lives.
into each other's inner experiences. I love that analogy. It's like, instead of guessing what your partner might be thinking, you actually get that chance to explore their personal map. And that becomes the cornerstone of a strong friendship in the relationship.
Exactly. And then, there's the whole idea of building rituals. Even small acts of connection, like celebrating a win or sharing a quiet evening, can really reinforce your bond.
Those little things add up. But let's pause a minute. Some might say, aren't routines a bit too rigid? I mean, isn't a touch of spontaneity important for keeping things fresh?
Sure, that's a valid point. It can feel a bit, mechanical at first. But for introverts, having some structure, like a consistent ritual, can actually be very reassuring. It's kind of like having a safe base from which you can explore deeper connection without feeling
Yeah, I
overwhelmed.
get that. Totally. And besides, those rituals are not meant to stifle spontaneity. They're more like um a reminder that you've got a consistent little space of connection waiting for you, even on the busiest days.
Right on. That tie in with consistency really reduces emotional stress. That brings us to another neat strategy: the daily stress reducing conversation. After work, taking 15 to 20 minutes just to listen and validate each other's challenges. It's almost like a daily check
Yep,
in
that really
where you
sets the
get to
tone for a
offload the
calm evening.
stress.
Absolutely. It's like turning a chaotic day into a shared experience. And that simple act of listening can create this strong we-ness where you both feel seen.
Exactly. And it's crucial to note that it's not about fixing problems instantly. It's about just being present for your partner and building trust. It even helps prevent conflict spirals later on.
Right, because holding on to stress just piles up over time. Speaking of conflict, the guide really emphasizes that ignoring problems isn't the answer. Avoidance can create a slow, creeping disconnect that, believe it or not, might eventually erode the relationship.
Right. Conflict isn't necessarily bad. It's about how you work through it. The guide lays out 6 skills to manage disagreements. Think of it as a recipe for turning friction into opportunities for deeper understanding.
Transformation rather than escalation. I do wonder, though, sometimes if you push conflict resolution too hard too early, couldn't that backfire? Not every partner might be ready for a structured conversation at the moment of stress.
That's a fair critique. It really has to be timed right and approached with genuine sensitivity. The idea isn't to force a conversation, but rather to create a habit of processing issues once the heat has settled.
Yes, the balance between timing and need is crucial. Exactly. And the guide also reminds us that while introverts may crave alone time, they too need that deep connection. It dispels the myth that introverts are antisocial.
Yep, being introverted isn't about shunning relationships, it's about desiring quality connections over quantity. The guide stresses that finding this balance is key, so that when you do come together, it's really
Absolutely,
meaningful.
quality over quantity, right? And on the topic of balance, there's the idea of compromise. In relationships where one partner might be inclined to go out and the other prefers a quiet night in, the guide suggests creative solutions, like inviting just one other couple out or planning a calm evening with the option of venturing out later.
Exactly. It's that art of compromise that keeps resentment at bay. By being clear about your needs and listening to your partner's needs, you avoid feelings of isolation or neglect.
Yeah, that's really practical advice. And really, it builds a foundation of trust and understanding that can carry the relationship through stressful times. Even if you're more naturally wired for solitude, it shows you're committed to being there when it counts.
Definitely. Plus, these strategies are so broadly applicable. Even if you're not an introvert, these tools work for any couple who values deep connection.
True, the principles of mutual care apply to everyone. It's also neat how they incorporate tools from Gottman's research, which many couples have seen tangible benefits from. You know, there are even products like the Gottman Relationship Advisor and Relationship Coach that turn these ideas into actionable programs.
Yeah, that integration of research-backed tools really lends the guide credibility. It's, like having a roadmap to navigate relationship complexities. Each step is designed to incrementally build intimacy and trust.
The fusion of science and practice is powerful. And let's not forget the focus on open dialogue. The guide is really adamant about how essential it is to avoid assuming things. Instead, ask your partner, share your perspective, and practice empathy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like swapping out assumptions for actual conversations. The benefit? Feeling truly heard, which is, invaluable for emotional well-being.
Absolutely, that's the cornerstone of any strong relationship. With all these tools and insights, it's clear that the guide isn't saying relationships for introverts are any less valid. In fact, it empowers them to embrace their uniqueness while still building, the deep connections everyone desires.
Right. It really transforms the narrative around introversion. It suggests that even if you need more solitude, you can still participate fully in a relationship and even enrich it with your perspective.
Totally, it's about leveraging your strengths. I must say, though, someone might worry that these structured approaches could initially feel a bit forced. Do you think that detracts from the natural flow of a relationship?
That's a valid concern, and it really depends on how both partners engage with the process. As they build these habits, the structure tends to dissolve, and what remains is genuine connection.
Habits eventually become second nature, right? And once the foundation is set, the relationship can adapt and thrive in a way that honors both needs, the quiet moments and the lively interactions.
Exactly. And it all circles back to the idea of friendship. It's the glue holding everything together. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, when you treat your partner as your best friend, the relationship naturally becomes healthier.
Yes, friendship first, always. So, in a nutshell, the guide offers a refreshing approach that respects the introvert's need for space while championing open communication, structured stress management, and, clear conflict resolution strategies.
Absolutely. It's like a blueprint for turning potential vulnerabilities into your greatest strengths in relationship building.
Right, turning challenges into opportunities. And with tools like the Love Map cards and even Gottman's digital programs, couples have accessible ways to implement these strategies in everyday life.
Yeah, it all reinforces that successful relationships are built on understanding, open dialogue, and ultimately a shared commitment to adapting together.
Exactly, mutual growth is key. Well, this conversation has been really enlightening. It shows that whether you're quiet by nature or more outgoing, having the right tools makes a huge difference in relationship success.
For sure. When you build around friendship, plan time for both independence and connection, and tackle conflict with empathy, you create a sturdy, lasting bond.
Yep, every effort counts. Thanks for joining in on this deep dive. We hope these insights help you celebrate, understand, and nurture that special connection with your partner, especially if you're navigating the world as an introvert.
Absolutely. Here's to building relationships that honor who we are and bring us together. Catch you next time.